The Necron tomb world is currently asleep, except for a lonely destroyer lord listening out on the bridge. Distant howling can be heard. The space wolves are on their way. Necron flanks awaken. Battle is just about to commence. Nick speaking, and welcome to this battle report. Right, today we are going to be playing on my bridge, and I am going to be playing against Richard and his Space Wolves. I cannot wait for this game to begin. Before that though, if you would like to keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k, then please give me a sub and hit the bell button so you don't miss an upload. Okay, so we are going to be playing a 2,000 point game. So let's take a look first of all at the Necron forces. Okay, for the Necrons we have 3 different detachments with 3 different dynasties. First we have a Sutek patrol detachment. I've got a Cryptic with a Staff of Light and Chronometron. He is going to be my warlord with Hyperlogical Strategist. So every time I use a command point on a 5+, I get that command point back. Then I have 5 Immortals with Gauze weapons. I've then got a battalion detachment under the Mefrit dynasty. We've got 2 lords with war size, 3 squads of 5 Immortals with Gauze weapons, 5 death marks in the elite slot, and 3 heavy destroyers in the heavy support slot. That gives me a good amount of command points, and at half range, extra -1 to AP. I've then got an Outrider detachment with the Novok dynasty. I've got a Destroyer Lord with a Scythe and Phylactery. I've changed Phylactery for Nano Scarabs. That is going to be my artifact. That means I can regain D3 living metal wounds at the beginning of my turn and my opponent's turn. Plus, the first time I am slain, I can come back with D6 wounds on a 4+. I then have 10 flayed ones in my elite slot, and my fast attack slot is 3 squads of 5 wraiths. Of course, the Novok dynasty means I can re-roll all of my hits in close combat, and that brings me in at 1995 points, and I've got 9 command points. Okay, so that is my 2,000 point Necron army. Let's have a look at the Space Wolves and see what I've got to face. Okay, so here is Richard's Space Wolves. I'm going to let Richard run over his list for you.
Right, I've got a battalion detachment. It contains Bjorn with assault cannon, the Flamer and True Claw, Nihal in Terminator armour with a staff. I've got 3 sets of Blood Claws, all chainswords and bolt pistols. I've got the Stormwolf, I've got the Repulsor. In the Repulsor will be aggressors with Boltstorm gauntlets. I've got 5 Fenrisian Wolves, 3 Thunderwolf cavalry with Thunderhammers and shields. The Wolfen have 2 Thunderhammers shields, a Great Frost Axe and 2 Frost Claws, and the Inceptors have normal assault bolters.
Okay, thank you Richard. That does look quite a nasty list, and there's quite a few units in there I haven't seen before, so I'm really looking forward to this. We've rolled for the mission. We are playing Ascension, so let's deploy and set up, and we'll be back for some more action. Okay, so we have deployed. We ended up rolling for Vanguard Strike deployment, which is pretty handy considering we've got this bridge going diagonally. So it just turned out that this particular mission meant that the 3 objectives are on the bridge. We've got 1 here, 1 in the middle, and 1 over that side of the bridge. So maybe that was fate. However, this is definitely going to be a fun battle. Right, deployment. The Space Wolves have deployed. Here we've got the 3 squads of Blood Claws in there. This tank thing here with the interceptors, aggressors in there. And then we've got the Fenrisian Wolves, Bjorn and the Inceptors. Yeah, okay. See, the first time I've faced Primaris. Right, on my side of the table I have deployed a Lord with the Immortals, another Lord with the Immortals, 3 squads of wraiths on the front flank. The heavy destroyers there just hunkering in terrain with the cryptic and immortals, more immortals, and the destroyer lord. We've got a rule that if you're infantry, the only way up onto the bridge is to use the teleportation pads. Anything else that has jump or fly can go onto the bridge. Richard has a good amount of his stuff in reserve, and he did finish dropping first, so he's going to get +1 to his roll. So let's roll off, see who is going to be going first. I got a 5, so unless you can see the initiative, roll coming up, a 2. No, okay, so it's going to be Necrons turn 1. Okay, so Necrons turn 1 took full advantage of my turn 1 when I got all 3 units of wraiths up on the bridge onto the objectives, also my destroyer lord. Now the characters, if they manage to stay on the objective for more than 1 turn, can rack up a few extra points. What else did I do? I moved this unit onto the pad so they can teleport up maybe next turn, and then I just moved the heavy destroyers in range of this rather nasty tank, and I managed to take off, I think, was it 8 wounds? 9 wounds altogether with my heavy destroyers. I did use the stratagem extermination for the re-rolls. I didn't get my command point back from my warlord trait, however, a good result. And then these guys just on the landing pad were the only other guns in range, and they shot into these flying space marines, and I managed to kill one of them, which was nice to see the numbers go down slightly. So at the end of my turn I scored 3 points for being on 3 objectives. I have the control of the bridge at the moment, but the Space Wolves have some reserves coming in. Oh yes, by the way, we are going to be playing the beta reserve rules. So in reserve I've got my flayed ones and death marks, and of course the Space Wolves have reserves too. So let's see what the Space Wolves can do in their turn 1. Okay, so turn 1 for the Space Wolves. These guys here, the aggressors, got out of this tank. I am very, very pleased I targeted this tank in my turn, because as I got it under half strength, it was only shooting on 4s, and boy did it have a lot of shots combined with this Storm Fang, is it? Or Storm Wolf. So the main focus really was my heavy destroyers, and I just about managed to survive. I have 1 heavy destroyer left on 1 wound. I did lose 1 immortal from here, and also after the interceptors came up onto the bridge, they shot down into here. I lost 3 immortals from there. Then they decided to assault my wraiths. They killed 1 from some sort of hammer and wrath attack. I got a mortal wound, and then they took another wound off in the assault, but I did manage to wipe them off in the assault. So that actually gave me first blood, which was very useful, and the Space Wolves didn't manage to score any points that turn. However, there is definitely more to come. So we're going to move into the Necron turn 2. Let's do some RP. Okay, let's do some RPs. So we've got 2 heavy destroyers. The cryptic was in 3 inches, so we come up on a 4+. Let's see if we can get some of these up. Come on. Both are up. That is very useful. Okay, so now these guys here, we've got 1 RP to make. It doesn't make that one. And then here we've got 3 RPs. Let's get these going. Okay, we need 5s. Okay, 1 guy back up. Right, okay, so let's see what we can do now. Okay, so Necron turn 2. So and ahh'd about what to do with these guys. They have the potential to teleport up onto that pad. So I decided it was about time I went down with the wraiths and sorted them out. So what I did is I moved the wraiths off of the bridge. At the end of my turn, I brought the flayed ones in onto the objective. In the meantime, these guys just spread out a little bit, trying to get the Lord in the middle of the wraiths. I teleported the depleted unit of Immortals and the Lord up onto that objective. The wraiths just standing there. And then these guys moved and advanced onto the teleportation device. The Immortals advanced 5 inches and the Lord advanced 6 inches, so that was nice. He managed to keep up with them. And then my destroyers, who got up the last turn, shot in and took out that tank there, a massive relief, because that was a lot of shots there. So I was really happy that my destroyer not only survived the first turn, but also these guys got up. Very useful. In the meantime, these immortals here, one group moved and advanced just surrounding these guys, because that's my warlord there, and then the warlord immortals shot in at these guys on the teleportation pad. I did 1 wound, and then these guys here shot into Bjorn and also into the wolves, the Venrisian wolves, just hiding there. I killed 1 wolf. I did a wound on Bjorn, but he saved it with his special reroll save thingy. Okay, and then we went into the assault. The Wraiths took 1 wound from Overwatch. I then rolled a bunch of dice on these guys. I got all of my hits through. I rolled really well on the hits. My wounds weren't quite so successful. I just got 4 wounds through. I managed in the end to kill 1 of these guys and a wound on the other. And that was it. Okay, so I racked up 4 points for these 3 objectives. The Lord here giving me 2 points for being on the objective for 2 turns. So we're going to move in now to the Space Wolves turn 2, and probably some much needed reserves. Let's see what happens. Okay, so turn 2 for the Space Wolves, and they are coming. So these nasty guys came down. We got 5 of the Wolven and the Thunderwolf cavalry. This Stormfang, Stormwolf, it's close, flew over the bridge. He's got all of his troops in there. And then over here, Niall came down using some of his psychic powers. In combination with those psychic powers and Bjorn, who's just hiding under the bridge, killed 4 of my immortals, and using Jewels of the Wolf Fang thing, killed 3 of these immortals here as well. The Stormfang, Wolffang, Wolf-Tooth.
Stormwolf, yeah.
He shot, I'm just going to call it Flyer.
Yeah.
This Flyer shot in at my heavy destroyers, killed 2 of them. Just 1 heavy destroyer left. An assault was attempted by these guys, but they were out of range. And then it was time to go over this side of the bridge to the aggressors. He did 1 wound on my Wraiths, and then the Wraiths cut them down, how they should have done in the first round, but they at least did it this time. So that was the end of turn 2 for the Space Wolves. I did decide not to intercept with my death marks, so they've got to come out now as we move in to turn 3 for the Necrons. Okay, so let's move into the Necron turn 3. Let's do some RPs. So my heavy destroyers on a 4+, because of the cryptic, both are up. Loving it. Right, these 3 immortals, we are now on a 4+, because again we're next to that cryptic. So let's see how many we can guess up. 1 up, and these immortals here we've got 4 to make. On a 5+ this time though. 2 up. Okay, pretty useful. Okay, so Necron turn 3, and just looking at this table, this side of the board is barren apart from Bjorn just there. Okay, so what did I do? I repositioned this blob here, putting the heavy destroyers just behind at the back there, and also the cryptic. He is my warlord. I'm expecting this blob here to all die in a minute. Yes. I then decided to shoot this flyer because we've got 3 troops choices in this flyer. However, it didn't go too well. My 3 heavy destroyers, even with the re-rolls from the stratagem, did absolutely nothing. Totally missed. I didn't even get to wound it. I rapid fired all of these guys into the flyer as well, using the Mephrit rules, -1, extra -1 AP, and I caused a reasonable amount of wounds. You've got, how many you got left there?
11.
11 wounds left on the flyer. So that's what happened over this side of the table. In the meantime, the Wraiths that were on the other side of the table have teleported onto the piece of terrain there. The death marks came in at the end of my turn, just here. I shot at Bjorn, just on the other side of the bridge. he's down to 5 wounds. I did 4 mortal wounds. I rolled 4 6s, which was really useful. I then teleported the Lord and the other immortal squad just up onto that little pad there. I made way by moving the wraiths just slightly. So I'm looking pretty at the moment on the objectives. This Lord has been on the objective for a couple of turns, giving me 3 points. So I'm currently up to 13 points and first blood. The Space Wolves as yet to score. So let's see what the Space Wolves can do in turn 3. Okay, so turn 3 for the Space Wolves. Bjorn just backed up and shot up at my death marks on the bridge, but did no damage. In the meantime, the other character, Niall, or whatever he's called, went on to that teleportation pad, and the Stormfang moved up just there, shooting into my heavy destroyers and killing one of them. In the meantime, as expected, these 2 assault units piled into my immortals. I did do some overwatch, did no damage, and of course all of my immortals died with all of the attacks coming in, and then they piled into my heavy destroyers and my cryptic. So that is how it stands at the end of turn 3 for the Space Wolves. So let's move into turn 4 for the Necrons. Okay, Necron turn 4, we are now going to do an RP on the Heavy Destroyer. Let's see if we can get him back up. So it's a 4+ from the Cryptic, a 6, yes. Heavy Destroyers do not want to die. Okay, so Necron turn 4, quite a quick turn. I managed to fall back with the Cryptic and the Heavy Destroyers. I shot the Heavy Destroyers into the Stormfang, Flyer, Wolffang thing. Took a few wounds off. I also shot all of the immortals into it, rapid firing, -3 AP. I managed to get this thing down to 7 wounds, so it's a little bit impaired in strength now. Over here I shot the death marks at Bjorn and I did nothing, no damage there. And that was it. So we're going to move on now to turn 4 for the Space Wolves. Space Wolves have no command points left. I have 2. I've been using my special rule to try and regain the command points. So far I've only regained 1, so not rolling too hot there. However, the game is looking pretty promising as I've gained another 1, 4 and 3 victory points on the objectives. Okay, so we're going to move in now to turn 4 for the Space Wolves. Okay, so turn 4 for the Space Wolves, and they are now putting the hurt on. So I have lost my Warlord, Space Wolves scoring a point there, and I've also lost my Heavy Destroyers, so the whole blob are gone. In the meantime, these guys have disembarked, and the Flyer then shot in. He killed one of my Lords. In the meantime, the Niall went up with some psychic powers, killed 2 immortals and also the Lord. So I lost both of my HQs there, plus my Cryptic, so just the Destroyer Lord left. He's done nothing all game except get lots of points. So that was it for the Space Wolves turn 4. So I'm going to move into Necron turn 5. I've got 2 RPs on these guys to make. Let's see if we can get them up. On a 5, no, double 1. Okay, so we're going to move into turn 5 for the Necrons. Okay, so turn 5 for the Necrons, and this time we decided to do a striking blow on Bjorn. So I moved the Wraiths from here using the stratagem, allowing me to advance and assault. Then I moved the Wraiths that were on this objective here, all down to the floor. Shot in with death marks, did no damage. The 2 immortals shot the Flyer and also did no damage. I then went into the assault. Although Bjorn is standing there, that's just a ghost, just a shell of Bjorn, because he is actually dead. So that was Slay the Warlord. Okay, so we're going to move in now to the Space Wolves turn 5. Okay, so turn 5 for the Space Wolves. Not too much happening. All of the shots went into my Wraiths, and a good bunch of them died, so I'm just down to 2 wraiths there. But yeah, end of the turn and end of the game. We are going to finish the game off here. The Space Wolves really struggling to get onto the bridge to get some points. However, it was a really fun game and very cinematic to be up on the bridge. Now, Richard, who is one of my subscribers, has his own little YouTube channel which is just going to be starting up. Richard, what's your channel called?
Capitan Morgan's War Games.
Right, excellent. I will put a link to his channel in the description below, so go and check that out for me. I really hope you enjoyed the battle report. We are going to have just a quick chat about the game. So Richard, obviously the mission, which although we had the bridge on there, we didn't actually play a bridge mission, did we? We just rolled for it.
Yeah, we played Ascension, and with the map being Vanguard straight and the way Ascension works, they all,
it just happened to be
all ended up on the bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, we did decide that we could have put them under, but then the bridge wouldn't have got used. It was they were better on
it's
top
just
of
like
the bridge.
literally just pure
Just
chance,
pure luck,
wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, so what did you think of my list? I'm really interested to hear what you thought of my list.
I thought it was very, very strong. If you could have got a unit of 5 destroyers in, it makes them a bit more durable. But with your RP rolls tonight, they stayed on the board so long.
Yeah.
And I've always said, for me, the Wraiths are an auto-include unit. I mean, 3+, you get, if you need the RP, and you've hardly found a involved save.
No, I didn't know. So, and they're much better in close combat now as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Especially against those 2 wounded
Marines. And they can take flyers on. They're so strong. I would say they're auto-includes.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew the Wolves without a codex would be struggling.
Yeah.
I did what I would normally do.
Yeah, I mean your units over there, very hard hitting. They certainly showed what they can do. Lots and lots of attacks and multiple damage, etc. Yeah. So it would have been very interesting if we'd just played like on a flat board.
Yeah.
However, we played this one, and that was the result. So an outstanding victory for the Necrons, mainly because we got first turn and I had Wraiths. Yeah. So
and the character scoring. Yeah,
the character scoring, knocking up the points as well.
Yeah,
and I had 4 characters.
Yeah,
so
and I only had 2, and only one of them could get up on there. It was.
So maybe just the Star Guards looking down on me, having put all that effort into the bridge.
I think what was it? Ended 30 odd to 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I was happy. I was in the game until technically points wise I wasn't, but I wasn't wiped. So
no, exactly. Excellent. Well, there you go. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Hit the Edict Beer icon at the end of the video so you can keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k. Beam me up.